is a cosmic horror film that takes place on a distant moon that is covered in a literal ocean of blood. Don't question it. It's not explained in the movie, and in the video game it's based on, they just hand wave it as, wow, that's weird. The laws of the universe must be broken. Just accept the absurdity and move on. Cliché protagonist of a prisoner who is promised his freedom if he accomplishes a task. That task is to go to the bottom of the blood ocean, a submarine, and look around. Then the horror starts to slowly kick in. So let's do the good first, then the bad, then my final recommendation. If you didn't know, the lead actor is also the director, adapted the video game for the cinema, and was the executive producer, putting up all the money himself to make the film. It cost $3 million to make and brought in $21 million on its opening weekend, finishing in the top spot just below Sam Raimi's Send Help movie. So that is a phenomenal debut for a first-time filmmaker. But he did have some help, because he is an extremely popular YouTuber named Markiplier, who has over 38 million followers. So he barely spent anything on advertising, because he didn't have to. He just asked his followers to go see it opening weekend, and it worked. And I'm glad I went and saw it in the theater on the second weekend, because this shows Hollywood that we don't need them anymore. Their gatekeeping days are over. And there has been dozens of articles written in the last week by major entertainment outlets saying the same thing. This was a double middle finger to their bloated, outdated, elitist system. But I digress. Mark did a great job acting and directing. It was lit properly for a dark submarine, so you were never confused because it was too dark. Great camera work and mixing of shots. Not like a fucking Batman. Because it is a very slow burn, and the first half is mostly the same mechanics as the game, flip back and forth between screens and accomplish tasks with all the consoles, it's kind of slow. Kind of boring. But he does it very well. Very much, the premise is very much like Five Nights at Freddy's. It's not until the second half where things start to unravel and the eldritch horrors come to light. So let's get into the bad. They completely fucked up the opening before the movie even starts. And it's because of a rookie mistake. There are two voiceovers. One giving a state of the universe exposition dump, and the second giving the movie's plot exposition dump. But you couldn't hear them at all because the music was blasting. Mark and his co-editor must have been using headphones or tiny laptop speakers when they were doing the sound design and making the final edits, and never tested them in a cinema or with real speakers or surround sound. Because in the theaters, the voiceovers were destroyed. You did not know what was going on because you could not hear either voiceover. Not a good way to start a film. And this next bit is a spoiler if you've never experienced cosmic horror before. He is a doomed character. You know pretty much going in that this is not going to end well. And I'm fine with it. I've even written a couple books that end the same way. If you've ever read any Lovecraft, this will not come as a shock. And people who played the game love the ending because it was a very short game that ended the same way. You don't spend weeks or months leveling up in the game only to have a no-win ending. It's more like an interactive short film because the game only takes an hour or so to play all the way through. So you're like, oh, okay, that was alright. Oh, interesting ending kind of thing. But you move on. The real problem with this movie is that Markiplier added in two characters that weren't in the game. This would have been fine if it had been done correctly. Turns out, Mark is a terrible writer. These characters are meant to keep the film going. So it's not just 2 hours and 7 minutes of him turning knobs on a console. And for that, they do succeed. This goes back to his directing skill and editing. they were included in all the right places. The problem is he writes like Jar Jar Abrams. The two characters introduce about 20 mystery boxes to the plot. Red herrings, plot threads, none of them are resolved. None. He did at least give us good shots of the final monster, so it wasn't like a vague, nothing burger. But all the mystery boxes ruin that moment as well. Cosmic horror is normally left very vague, no problem there, but you can't introduce all these what ifs, especially in the last 20 minutes of the film, and not pay off a single one of them. And then the movie just ends. And all those unresolved mystery boxes completely destroy the film. It feels like you just wasted your time and money, like you walked out of the theater when it had 5 minutes left. But there was no 5 more minutes. Don't get me wrong, I love what he accomplished, and hope he keeps punching Hollywood in the dick with his box office successes. If he makes more horror films, I will go see them. But by the tentacle beard of Cthulhu, screen your damn movie and let someone else double check it with you before releasing it to over 4,000 theaters. So sadly, because of that ending, I can't recommend it. There's no cohesive story, it's all atmosphere with no substance. And it's not good as a character study because they're not characters, they're boring stock tropes. But be sure to subscribe for more horror, occult, and Lovecraft madness. Until next time, Cthulhu Fatagan.